Today I'm going to install MongoDB on my Linux server and configure it to accept external connections from other servers on my network. Now, unlike most installation processes where you can just use the default package manager, this one in particular, that is MongoDB, is a little bit different. So if you, for example, I'm running Ubuntu over here, if I just do sudo apt install MongoDB, it's actually going to install something, but it's not going to install the correct thing. So MongoDB is a bit trickier to install than most packages in this way. So it will install the incorrect version. So what I'm going to recommend is that you visit the MongoDB documentation and follow the instructions for your specific distribution in order to do this correctly. It largely looks the same for each one, but the commands might be slightly different. If we look at this section right here in the documentation, it explains why the MongoDB is different when you just install it by default versus when you go through this process. Fortunately, this documentation is very good, and we can simply copy most of these installation commands in order to get MongoDB up and running. So first we need to import the public key and use that in order to install the correct version. So I can just copy and paste this command, give it my password, and we are good to go. So in mine, it responded with OK, and that tells us that everything is good to go. Yours might not respond with OK, and you can get an error indicating that GNU PG is not installed, which you can install with these instructions down here. But mine responded OK, so I'm going to move on to the next step. Next, we need to create the list file for MongoDB, and in order to do this correctly, we need to make sure that we know the version of Ubuntu that we are running. I know that I'm running Ubuntu 20.04 Focal, and I can confirm that with the command here. And as you can see, I am running Ubuntu 20.04 LTS Focal. And so that will be this one right here. And we are just going to copy this command and once again paste it in. What we have done here is essentially create an additional repository for Ubuntu to check when trying to download packages. So when I first installed Ubuntu, I specified the URLs for where I wanted it to look for packages. And the first two steps here just added a new one to that so it will find the official release of MongoDB. So now we need to actually reload those packages. If we look at the output from this command, we can see that it first is checking the us.archive.ubuntu.com. And then we have some mongodb.org repositories that it's looking at as well. And now we can see what has been done in those first two steps. Essentially, we just added these connections for it to check. That way, when we install MongoDB, it will get it from the correct place and thereby get the correct version. Finally, we just run the command to install MongoDB. And note that it is not simply MongoDB, it is mongodb-org, and that is what we want to actually install. Now, it specifies -y, and what this is going to do is prevent it from asking you to confirm that you want to install this. So if I run this command exactly as is, it's just going to go ahead and install it for me, which ultimately is what I want, but I'm going to take out that y so I can point out exactly what it's doing. Right there, it asks if I want to continue. And I knew I wanted to continue from the very beginning, but I took out that y just to show you that it will stop at this step and ask for a confirmation. So I can just hit enter and it will finish the process. Once the installation process is finished, we can try to start MongoDB. So we'll do sudo systemctl start MongoDB. And now we can check to make sure that actually worked. And in fact, it did not. And this is usually caused by a permission error. And if I do a list long form on TMP, we can see that we have this file here. The MongoDB socket is owned by root, and it needs to be owned by the MongoDB user. So using the root account with sudo, I can change ownership, so CHOWN, and I want to change the owner, the user owner, to be MongoDB, and I want to change the group to MongoDB as well, and that is /tmp/MongoDB-27017.sock. And now if I start it and check the status, we can see that it is running. Now, if you're only planning to use MongoDB on your local system, then you are pretty much good to go at this point. The only thing you might want to do is set it up so that MongoDB runs as soon as you turn on your machine. So if you restart your server, for instance, you would want it to boot with MongoDB running. So you would need to do sudo systemctl enable MongoD. And in fact, you can combine the enable and start commands into one by specifying -- now at the end. That would both enable it at startup and also start it right now. However, if you are intending to use your MongoDB instance in a slightly different way, you're going to need to do a little more configuration. So for example, I am running the MongoDB package on a separate server from the one that is going to be utilizing it. So my website is hosted on one server, and my MongoDB is hosted on another server. And in order for that to work, I need MongoDB to accept connections from machines that are not its own. And I can do that with the configuration file. So I'll do sudo nano /etc/mongod.configure. And if we scroll down here, we can see port and bind IP. So the first thing we want to take note of is this port. So MongoDB on my server is listening on port 27017. And so when I try to connect to it from one of my other servers, that's the port that it's going to use. Now this is in fact the default port, so most of the time I can just leave it as default. But this bind IP is what I need to change. Now this can be a bit of a security concern. 127.0.0.1, which was the default, that basically means local host. So just this machine. Only applications running on this machine can access it. But that's not actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to accept connections from my other servers as well. So I will open it to 0.0.0.0. And this means it's going to connect from everywhere. Now, if I have this port open on my network that is open to the internet, it is going to accept connections from anyone. So anyone could connect to my MongoDB instance, and that would be quite the problem. So what I really want is for my network to block that port from the external world. So only machines on my internal network can connect to MongoDB. So check your firewall and check your router and network settings to make sure that this port is not open to the internet. If it is, you're going to have a lot of security problems. But for me, I have set up the security to make sure that this will work, so I can write this out. Now the other thing I want to configure is where it is storing my databases. Currently, it is storing them in /var/lib/mongodb. And in fact, I want them to be under /data/databases/MongoDB. And now whenever I create a new database, it will save it in that location. And the reason for that is that I have partitioned an external hard drive and mounted it to this location so that it will use an external hard drive with dedicated storage for this. Now, typically you can just leave this part alone, but I want these databases to go into a particular location, so I'm going to specify that here. And with that, I can write the file out, close it, and restart MongoDB. One final note is that if you do decide to change the directory that houses your MongoDB databases, you need to make sure that you have the appropriate permissions on that file. So if you remember, I had mine in /data/databases/MongoDB, but we're just going to do that. And we want to specify -l. And as you can see, I have set the permissions on this so that I am the owner and MongoDB is the group. That way, both the MongoDB instance and I can make any changes we want in this directory. And also notice that in this directory, we have read, write, and execute permissions for the owner, that's me, and read, write, and execute permissions for the group, that's MongoDB. And this will allow the actual instance of MongoDB to do what it needs to do in that database. Now that we have created our MongoDB instance, we've enabled it on the system so that it runs at boot, and we've configured it so that it will accept connections from the other machines on my network, as well as setting the directory in which we want to store databases. Our next step is to actually go into the Mongo shell and set up some users. So all we need to do is type Mongo. And now we are in the Mongo shell. And if we type show DBS to show databases, we will see that there are 3 databases that exist to begin with: admin, config, and local. And as we create databases, we're going to want to specify some users for those databases. So an admin account where you can go in and make the necessary changes, and a application account so that you can keep your administrator privileges separate from what the application is actually doing. But what we really want to do is create, for that admin account, we want to create one admin user that has access to all the databases. So what we're going to do is go into the admin database and create that first user. So we'll just say use admin. Now that I am in the admin database, what I'm going to do is create a user. And what I'll be able to do is, as I create new databases, I will just be able to add roles to this one user. Thus, I can have one user account with controls on all of my databases. Or if I want for like a specific application to be able to use a specific database, then I can create a user account in that particular database. So you want to be careful how you manage your users in this. Now, you will have some users that are specific to databases and some users that are general across databases. In this instance, I'm going to be creating a general one. So I'm going to say db.create user, and then I'll open some parentheses and open some curly brackets. Now, you don't have to put in the new lines here. I'm just doing this for aesthetic reasons, so it's easier for you to look at, but you can do this all on one line. Now what I want to do first is specify the username. So I'll say user, colon, and then in quotes, my username, and a comma. Now for password, you can in fact type in your password here, but since I'm showing this in a YouTube video, what I'm actually going to do is tell it to prompt me for a password. And that's a command that it needs to execute, so it needs those parentheses. And we'll put another comma. And now we're going to assign this user some roles. And this is a list, so we open square brackets and then curly brackets for the first role, which is going to be read, write. And then on the database, it is on the admin database. Now we can close that bracket. We can close the list. We can close the top bracket. And we can close the top parentheses. So it asks me for a password, and now it's created this user. So as I begin creating new databases, what I will do is simply add roles to this user. So let's say I create a database, we'll call it, I'm not actually going to do this just so I don't have to delete it later, but I can create a new database like that. And then I would say something like db.add roles, or excuse me, it is going to be grant roles to user. And then I would say the user is going to be Eric, and the roles, we will open another list. I'll say role, and I'll say read, write, DB is going to be this one, test. And then I can execute that, and now my same user can, in fact, do things on different databases. Or if I want, I can have an application that exists only in one database. And from here, whenever I try to launch MongoDB, I can say mongo-u Eric, and it's going to ask me for the password. And now I am running MongoDB as that user. So I can do show databases, and I can still see admin. Now, if my user did not have access to the admin, that one simply would not show up. Or if there were any other databases that I created, they just won't show up in the list. So, for instance, if I am running a web application that utilizes MongoDB and I have a specified user for that application, then if for some reason someone were to access that user account and list the databases on my system, they would only see the one for that application. So managing your users is an important way to maintain security on your system. And with that, that is a basic overview of how to install, configure, and generally use MongoDB. I would consult the documentation on the MongoDB website for more specifics about how to actually use it, but this should be enough to get you running with an instance of MongoDB. Alright, so we all know how this part works. If this video was useful to you, please hit the like button. It helps me grow the channel and it'll help other people find the video. Also, this is part of a larger project where I'm trying to build a company starting with just 3 old laptops. So if you're interested in seeing how I do that, you can hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notifications when I upload a new video. So thank you for watching.